now I can start. So I was
Okay,
like,
I
what
thought.
is he writing about? And then I see the message, you're muted. Fantastic. I don't know how I managed because I don't even have a touch screen. So anyway, it's
It's
recorded.
technology, Sabrina. It's technology. Things just
Fantastic.
happen.
Yeah. Luckily, I can cut the beginning.
That's right.
Let's start all over. So, good morning from Italy, and good morning, actually, good afternoon from Italy, and good morning to Ken, and good morning to Kurt, who is our special guest today for our beautiful conversation. But before I leave Kurt introduce himself, and he will tell more about what his journey was about, is about. I want to remind everyone who is watching this conversation to click on the subscribe button and to help me help YouTube understand what my channel is dealing with. So you can also comment, you can share these conversations with other people. And I think that I said, oh no, I also have to remember to say, click on the little bell as well, so that you get notified. And now I just look at Ken because usually he says this. Now I look at Ken and I remember that I have to say, click on the bell, because then whenever I upload new videos, you get notified. And with that said, I will just introduce very shortly Kurt, who is an energy intuitive, if I say it correctly. And I was connected to Kurt thanks to Patrice Christofiak, whom we have interviewed last week, and we had a lot of fun with him. So I can't wait. And this is very beautiful because, Kurt, maybe you don't know. I don't know if I wrote to you in the email, but we are just following your flow. So we will stop you along the way and ask you questions.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So thank you to Patrice because Patrice introduced me to
Yeah.
you via email. And yeah, so I did a mentorship with Patrice uh, 2 years ago as part of my journey that I've been on spiritually and healing wise. And and it started, the original journey started back in 2017 via my wife. I I sort of wasn't into any spiritual aspect. She had some things going on, and we started Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Okay.
and we had done his work for
Yeah.
many years. Went to retreats, was a part of his coherence healing group,
Yeah, I know that.
and things, and it was eye opening. I had some physical healings in one of the
Wow.
retreats,
Okay.
and after
Then, if
that
you want,
first,
you can share more about the details.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So at the first retreat we went to, I received a healing, a group in-person healing. That's how his programs work, and it was amazing. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It, yeah, I had never felt energy that way before, and it healed. I used to wear glasses. Since that time, I haven't worn glasses. Didn't need them. I had some physical ailments, some shoulder issues, and that those improved. They actually went away for quite a while, and then they're still improved compared to what they were years ago. So that was sort of the opening. So
So it was your wife who invited you to try
well,
this experience.
she started reading one of his books, and
As
two
Patrice
pages.
always say, listen to your wife.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, she was about 2 pages in, and she's like, I think you need to read this book too. So we started our journey together, which was amazing. Not many people start their journeys together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we did that for many years, was part of his healing groups, and saw some amazing things happen energetically with people, like physical healings, just a change in people in general. So we did that until, oh my gosh, probably 2022, 23. And then I sort of shifted a little bit. That's the beauty of all of this work and energy. Everything shifts, right? We're always evolving. There's no stagnation if you sort of let the universe
Yeah.
guide you. There's no stagnation. So then I started getting into, well, I had a session with Patrice,
How did you find Patrice in the first
my wife.
place?
My
Your
wife,
wife.
my wife found Patrice, booked a session, and then I read and went, gee, I think I'd like to have a session with him. So I went on and got a session before her session. Yeah. And me and Patrice hit it off. Like we literally chatted. It was just funny. As you know, Patrice is quite the
Yes.
character. So
Yeah.
we chatted and it was great. It was a great session, but it was just like talking to an old friend.
Yeah.
Then my wife had a session and asked Patrice where he was located at the time. And they were in Portugal
Mhm.
because he lives part time in Portugal. And we're like, oh, we're going to Portugal in March. He's like, oh. So we ended up meeting Patrice and Lisa, his wife, for lunch
Wow.
one day. And then we spent probably the next 8 days hanging out together, just hanging out, but then sort of having sort of group tune-ins and sessions with each other. And just, it was phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah. And after that, everything shifted again. You know, and I could feel more energies. I could sense stuff, at the time, you know, I would get hits
So
of
before
certain
you
things.
went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's healing retreat,
Right.
you had never had any energy perception or experience.
Not really. I
What were
mean,
you doing before that?
yeah, well, I was an emergency room nurse for 25 years.
Okay.
So, I could feel stuff, I had knowings and things through work, but, you know, when you're sort of not into that sort of lifestyle, it's just like, huh, interesting. Yeah, I sort of know when certain things might happen. But you don't clue in that it's source giving you these things and you sort of have to run with it. And
Yes, but did you connect the fact that it was source?
not till after the fact, I'm like, oh,
Mm.
that makes so much sense now. All these little tidbits that I would get, I'm like, that makes sense now.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah,
what
that was,
is the next? Actually, I would go back one
yeah,
second to the Joe Dispenza's experience.
absolutely.
What, if you can, and if you are willing to share a little bit more of that experience, because you get there, you have no idea of what it's like, I imagine, at that point.
No, no, like
So
we read the books. Yeah,
you read
like
the
we read the
books,
books.
yeah. And yeah, of course, there are videos online, but it's not the same as being there. And then you
Absolutely.
find yourself in this kind of surreal environment,
Yeah.
and you happen to experience healings. And what did you feel? What, I don't know if you had, I don't know, visions or just feeling in your body.
Yeah, feeling in my body like it was palpable. It was like you put your finger in a socket. Like
Mm.
for my actual healing that I had, I was laying on a floor and my whole physical body was coming up and slamming me on the floor. I couldn't do it physically if I tried. And it was just energy. And I was literally taken up and smashed, up and smashed, up and smashed on this concrete floor, with a little bit of carpet. And it was like,
Yeah.
but it was exploding out of me. Like I was buzzing. And then for the rest of that whole week, my whole body was buzzing. People could feel me buzzing.
So
Mm.
you could feel the vibration. For
I
buzzing, you
could feel
mean
the vibration
vibration.
in my body just changing. Like in bed, my wife's like, I can feel you vibrating. She's like, it's crazy. And then that same week after this happened, when we did more healings and I was the healer of a group, same thing. It was the amount of energy that was coming through me
The other person that
was
was receiving the energy from the group could feel it from you specifically.
yeah, like could feel it from everybody, but certain people were like, I could feel it. And one person said it was, they had their eyes closed and it's a dark room. And they're like, I could see your hands and I could just see light and I could feel it like coming
Okay.
in through the top of my head. And it was, and I could feel it. Like it used to be exhausting. I would be soaked in sweat and it would just be like palpable. So yeah, it was pretty mind blowing, when it that first week it's just like
And
this
you
stuff
had never
is real.
meditated before. So you read the book, you went
We read
there,
the book, meditate, like we read the book like 2 years before our first retreat
retreat.
and did the meditations and, tuned in and stuff. And it was like, oh, this is great. But then after the retreat, it was just like, wow, okay, this is next level, you know, absolutely amazing. And that was sort of the catalyst to everything that happened since then, right? Like yeah, like
And when you
it's
came back
amazing.
from that retreat, how did your life change before you met Patrice, before your wife
Oh,
found
yeah, no,
Patrice?
absolutely. It changed in the sense that you saw things differently, like the way you approach life and others, and it just changed. You saw it more like from a loving perspective, right? And energetic, and realizing that, what you put out there, you receive,
Mm.
right? People don't get that, right? It's, things don't happen to you out of the blue. It's, if you give love, you receive love. If you give hate, you receive hate. That sort of, that's in a simplified form. Energy
Yeah,
is out there, right? And we don't realize how much we
yeah,
actually affect it and control it for ourselves and for others.
yeah. But I want to make a point here because I think that Ken agrees. But Ken, you can tell also if you agree or not. But you say if you give love, you receive love. If you give hate, you receive hate. Actually, there are people, human beings, who don't give hate, but they receive hate. But it's
Oh,
because they
absolutely.
need it to evolve anyway. It's something that
Absolutely.
is needed for us to remember who we are.
Because we're here to experience life and, like I say, to evolve. And I always say back to source, right? So source is pure love. We're here for an experience. If you came here and it was just all pure love, then there's no experience to have, right? We have to go through these trials, tribulations, all of that stuff so that we remember that it's love that we're heading back to. And that's a great point, Sabrina. Like we do, we have to have all of this chaos, all of these problems, because you can't grow. You can't grow otherwise. It's right.
It made me so angry years ago. The fact that you have to
Yeah.
go through such a mess to be able to grow, it bothered me very much. Now I just enjoy it, but it took me
Absolutely.
years to understand this.
Yeah. Because it's your perspective on how you look. When you can see it for the lesson it's trying to teach, right? You can sort of step back and be like, why am I angry? There's a lesson for me here to learn. And if I don't learn that lesson, a similar situation is, it's going to keep coming back in different forms, but it's the same lesson. So yes, as you say,
And
over
it's
time
coming
when you
back
can see that.
stronger, actually, if you don't want to
Absolutely. Oh
learn
no,
it.
absolutely. Yeah.
One time, two times, then you get the wall, then you get the cliff, then you get whatever.
No, exactly. That's what I always say. The first one is like hello. The second one is a punch in the shoulder. The next one is a punch, Yeah, exactly.
Or here.
Yeah,
Yeah, a good kick in the
that's right.
Yeah.
when you experience that first healing for yourself, and you also mentioned that you shared it with other people in that same group, uh, and they felt your energy. When you came back to regular life after that, did
Right.
you did you start sharing that with other people at that time? Did you realize that was your path at that time? How did that work for you?
You sort of tell people a little bit about it. because
Hmm.
people find it, the average person finds it woo-hooey, or, what I mean? They
Right.
find it hard to believe, which is
Yeah.
fine. I mean, that's where they are on this journey. But no, when we got back, we continued and continued sort of more in depth. But yeah, we didn't, we shared it a little bit, know your audience, who you can share it with, and
Mm.
it's receptive. But that was also a lesson, because then it came later. It's like, I'm going to just be me and share it. If you like it, you like it. If you
Yeah,
don't, you
but this
don't. You know
is,
what I mean?
yeah, I mean,
Right.
and it's also maybe it was such a breakthrough, such mind blowing that you needed time also to adjust and
Oh,
adapt.
you have to integrate all that stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Because once you leave that group, because like the first group we were in, the first event was like 800 people.
Oh,
And then
wow.
and then the groups later were like 1,500, 1,200, 1,800, like big groups.
Wow.
And when you have that many people resonating you know, the same sort of energy frequency, it is it's almost like an addiction. Like, because while you're there, you walk into the auditorium and it's like pushing through jello. Like, it's palpable. Like the
Yeah.
room, you walk in and it's like, whoa. And it's so loving and it's so beautiful. So then when you come home, yeah, the integration, anything that shifted for yourself, but also you spend a week in this like blissful energy, and then it's like a withdrawal symptom. And it's like, because
Yeah.
it's so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It must be
Wow.
amazing. It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, no,
So
and it's
Do you feel that as you started there in this journey, do you feel that you were purposely led to, like, yes, your wife introduced you to Patrice, but do you feel like you were purposely led by source or spirit, or how would you look at that?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty stubborn, so pretty stubborn usually. But yes, I absolutely was led there, because certain things would come up, and would and they resonate or not. But once I was able to let go, I'll say, of the ego, right? It's like, no, that's not for me. But the more and more of the work I did, it's just like, no, everything happens exactly how it's supposed to be. And when you can sort of surrender yourself, you're always led in the right direction. And that's what's happened, right? Like, it's, there are no coincidences, right? If
Right.
you if
now
you if
I'm
you if
really
you
curious,
through
Kurt. And what
yes,
about your wife? Now I'm like, why isn't your wife here with you sharing this conversation?
I
What
sort
about
of do this
her
aspect of
experience?
it.
What about her experience in the retreat and after? And what about I'm curious, sorry. I was born
Yep,
in
no, no,
Napoli.
absolutely.
I live in the northeast of Italy, but I actually was born in Napoli, in the south of Italy. Very curious people. It's
It's okay. It's okay. No, she had great experiences and shifts, physically, energetically, and all that. But she sort of stays, you know, she just continues the work, and as the same thing, she progressed, like from Dr. Joe and into other stuff, and just trying to find you know what
yeah,
resonates in the moment. And as we know, and that's why it's ever changing, because everything has a frequency. Like, his work is absolutely amazing. It gets people into this, lifestyle realm, whatever you want to call it, right? But then, my personal experience, it's amazing. But then there's a cap. So, it's the same thing,
mm.
and it gets you to a certain level. And then if you sort of listen,
Then it's
the
always
next
up
thing
to
comes.
you.
Yeah, the next thing comes along, and I think that's how you keep raising your frequency.
Yeah,
Is that everything has a frequency? So when you've sort of tapped out, sometimes that, and it's like, okay, this doesn't resonate anymore, right? And then if you are open, the next thing comes in. It's like, oh, hey, nope, this resonates, and if you listen and you carry on, I think that's how you build your right, your frequency.
Yes. And then you happen to meet Patrice. You find him and then even meet him in person. And what
Oh, it
happens
was
next? How so this happened in 2000?
20 in March of 24. I met Patrice
Okay.
in person, and we hung. All four of us hung out, and
Yeah.
yeah, no, everything started getting weird. Then it's typical Patrice. Everything starts getting weird.
Weird is the new normality.
That's
Yes.
that's what I always say. Weird is weird's the new
This
cool.
is what
That's
he
yeah,
says all the time. It's so funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we would do like we'd go out for lunch and then we'd go back to their place and sort of just sit and everybody sort of tune in and it was getting crazy. It's the first time I really spoke light language at the time, and then it was just like light language constantly, and I would laugh. So when I would laugh to the point that I would almost pass out. Like it was crazy. When I'd start moving energy, I would start laughing. And Patrice used to laugh at it, and I'm like, I could barely breathe. I'd be like purple.
This is the true laughter, therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and it was like constant. And then, fast forward, we came home. Me and Patrice, would chat however many times a week, and then he'd be like, "Oh, can you join a session?" So I did a ton of sessions. I would jump in and help Patrice out, and
Yeah.
yeah, and that sort of honed because it was a different type of energy session versus Dr. Joe's energy
Mm.
sessions, right?
Mm-mm.
So, and that's the beauty of this. It's all the same. It's just different formats, and it just looks a different way, but ultimately, it's all the same.
It's moving energy in a different way because
Yeah,
we are different. Our
absolutely.
each energy, each individual has got a different. Patrice, I love the way Patrice explains this, saying everyone has their own note. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And sometimes that's why, and Patrice is great at bringing other people in because sometimes you need, like, that's a good word, the notes, right? You just need different notes. And that's what happens lots of times. You could pop in on a session for 10 minutes and you move a bunch of stuff. It's like, okay, I'm going to go now. And it's like, boop. And then later it's like, yep, thanks for coming because that helped shift something for the person and that allows everybody else. You know what I mean? It's just sort of a compounding, of energies to help somebody. That's all right.
It
Yes.
appears like it's raising somebody's vibration.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everybody brings that little extra, right?
Mhm.
And Patrice is great at going, I think I need this person to come in. I think I need this person to come in. Right? That's a great talent of Patrice's. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to see who can come in. It's like, I think this person is who we need for this. And he'll bring somebody in.
Yes. And what about after you come back from meeting Patrice? What about then your life? How does it go on?
Uh, I was retired, so it was a pretty pretty good life. But Patrice was like, "You need to start a website," and I was like, "Ah, Patrice, no, 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 no. Yeah, you need to be doing sessions." And I'm like, "No, no, no. I like jumping in on your sessions or coming in." And he's like, "No, no, you need to do your own." Yeah. And so finally, I started my website. Because I was like, "No, I love helping people. Like I love this work." So I was
What
like,
is your
"Okay, I'll
unique
start a website."
note, Kurt? What is your unique note? How do you express your uniqueness?
I think it's being present for people, and it's shifted because I don't laugh as much anymore. I feel the energies, but I don't have the physical, we'll say, expression of it anymore. Like one time my head would twitch, I'd be laughing, I'd be coughing all the time. I think I bring a calmness and just a presence. So the way I work now, when I do a session on a person, is in meditation before the session, I tune in and just ask, is there something for this person?
Hmm.
Most of the times I get little words in that, which, one time you would just sort of like, that sounds foolish. But I've learned that none of it's foolish. And, and I'll bring it up to people and they're like, Yeah, no, that word means something to me, you know. But
Yeah.
so what happens then is I just start conversations. So my work totally changed in that a session would be, it's just like talking to friends. And what I find is if you just let it generically flow, conversations and things get brought up, and they all have energetic attachments, right? So when you're talking and when we're just having conversations, I can feel it. When there's something attached with it, I can feel it and my whole body buzzes.
Mm.
And then we keep talking and people are like, oh, I've had lots of people be like, I haven't thought of that situation in 30 years,
Hmm.
right? But when they explain the situation, you can see why there was energy attached to it. You know what I mean? Like it was some sort of event that energetically has affected that person. Right? And they forgot about it because it was whatever, but we're talking and yeah, they'll be like, I've never thought of that for 30 years. And then they start talking and the energy's moving in me. And they're like, huh, interesting, right? And they feel it. A lot, most of the time they'll feel the energy. They'll be like, whoo, I can feel that in me. And it's like a release. But it's interesting how just conversation, and it can go the weirdest conversations. I
And this
always warn people,
happens online or only like, do you work online or
yeah, I work
how do you
just
say
online.
online? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, as you know, energy has no boundaries. So
No,
people
this
on the
is
other
why
side of
I
the world
asked.
feel it the same as, if you were sitting next to the person.
There
So,
are people, energy healers or energy
yeah,
channeler, who only work offline because they say, no, 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 it's not, I don't really feel the energy, but I think that I can actually, I manage to feel people's energy through the screen as well. And
well, there are no boundaries. Everything is energy. So it's not
yeah,
separate. You can't say, I'm here, Ken's there, you're there. Energy is everywhere and we're all energy. So, like,
yeah.
there's no
Well,
time, there's no space in that regard. It's just energy. So
it's
I think it's
just, I
always present.
think, the resistance that we put into
Absolutely.
using a certain device, maybe, or a certain technology.
Yeah. It's doubt, right? As soon as you have doubt, then it doesn't work. It's like people who have healings and then doubt it or go back to their same, we'll say, patterns of consciousness, and it relapses because it's doubt, right? And just like you're saying, you can feel energy over distance. And some people say, no, I have to be in person. Well, that's just a limitation you've put in your head that you have to be in person because,
Then I understand that, when you meet people in person, you feel even more
oh,
because
absolutely.
you are
Yeah.
closer. So, of
No,
course,
absolutely.
the more close you are, the more you can feel. But still, when there is a lot of distance, I think that technology helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's always good to see somebody, right? Like, you can do all this on a phone. It's not the same,
No,
right? When you
Absolutely.
can see people, you can see how their face changes as you're talking, right? You can see their emotion, you can see if they're anxious, you can see just those cues alone help.
exactly. I as time changes, I think the energy has always been there, always the same. As the times have changed, I mean, everybody everybody who communicated with somebody else did it in person,
That's right.
or they may have sent them a letter or something, or, delivered it by horse or wagon or by foot,
Yeah.
whatever. But nowadays, with the new technologies and even all of our technologies, it's all energy and frequencies passing through the air.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all sitting here together in three different places in the world, and energetically, we're all connected.
Absolutely. Right. I
Yeah.
can, yeah, right. I've been feeling energy since we got on, right? Like it is. It's just like you're right there. And And I like the point that you made, Ken, about, back in the day, somebody would send a letter. And, for us who can remember getting a letter, it's, it's
That
the
date,
same thing though.
I
When
think
you
that
open,
dates us.
yeah, when you open that letter though, and you read it, there was energy, right? Whether, if it was from a family member, a loving letter, a letter of sadness, you didn't know, but when you opened that letter and you read it, the energy you could feel the energy from that, right? The
Yeah,
excitement or the sorrow or the what. So yeah, it's a great point what you're making. It's time has changed, but yeah, it's all the same, just through a different medium, right?
absolutely. Yeah, it's, I think it's allowing us to reach out into the world and share stuff that would have been impossible before to do other than traveling, to go to Canada, to go to Italy. That's quite an excursion, especially if you're walking. But
That's
Or
or
if you're
swimming
swimming,
that's
swimming in the
right.
case of Italy, right?
Yeah,
I could walk to Canada.
many
It's tough to
sharks to
walk to,
overcome,
that's right.
yeah. Unless you can do the walk on water thing, then that then,
It's
then
a
that
long
works.
way anyway, Ken.
It's
That's
still
right. You're still
it's
going to be tired.
yeah, exactly. So this is a lot easier to do.
Oh, yeah,
And you made a good point of saying, because it opens up things that, even 25 years ago, right? There was no
Yeah.
real internet and stuff, so even 25 years ago, we didn't know about, you know, this much of what we know now, and access to people who have, gifts and knowledge, and
yeah,
that was still not available to us
yeah.
like it
It
is
was
today.
there, but not available. And
Yeah.
now it's so much available. And this is what I love with these conversations, is to make it even more available. Like,
No,
see that we can connect with others and learn about other unique notes, other unique frequencies and energies.
that's right. Yeah. Because when we talk about, everybody has a special note, and we talk about gifts. Everybody has all the gifts. It's just, are they able to access them, right? Like, that's it. It's like I always say to people, like, I want to access this, and I'm like, why are you putting a stipulation on and a label on stuff? Just whatever you feel, that's it. If you put a label on it and you have this expectation, like, I want to be, clairvoyant, right? And they're working hard and working hard. It's not supposed to be that sort of work, right? You know what I mean? We all have these gifts. Everybody's is unique, and they're
Well,
all
then
different.
it's also a question of training, yeah? Because if you
Yeah,
repeat a certain amount of times certain things, then you can be clairvoyant if you want. It's just that you have to be
absolutely.
patient and consistent and
Yeah,
keep doing something until it switches and it
yeah.
goes
But
on.
I find people get frustrated because they're like, I've been doing the work, and it's like, but take the label off of it, and just whatever gift, you don't have to call the gift a certain thing. If you
Mm.
feel something, you feel something. If you see something, you see it. You hear it, you hear it. You have a knowing, you have a knowing. It's the same thing. You just don't need to label it, because people, I find, uh, sort of stump themselves because they're looking for a specific thing instead of just letting it flow. Like, I find that in a lot of sessions, people are so focused on, I want to be this and I want to be that, instead of just letting it flow. So what happens is they get frustrated because they're trying so hard to this specific goal, where they've sort of missed all these other, gifts or abilities that are there and that they have, but because they're focused on a certain word or a certain thing, they miss out on them. It's, you know, and they change I mean, I sometimes I see stuff,
Mm.
very rarely. Sometimes I feel stuff, sometimes I hear stuff. Would I call myself any of the, clairvoyant, clairaudient? Yeah, it is what it is. It's different every day.
Yeah, it's
So I
just
just
that you
accept that.
allow it. You allow it, you accept it, you allow it, and then you are.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. You don't put that pressure and stress, and, right? Because as soon as you do that, the energy does this.
Mm.
Right? When you just allow, it just all happens. So if you're just, yeah, sure, whatever. Today I'm Sabrina. Tomorrow I'm Ken. Oh, great, perfect. You know, it makes things flow easier. We're not fighting for something. We're just letting it happen.
I think it's inherent in people that they have a lot of abilities, but we've suppressed them in a way that we're not seeing them or we're not feeling them. I know when I manifest something, I always put the caveat in to that I recognize when that comes to me in whatever form it comes to me.
That's right.
So I think people need to recognize that they go beyond the physical.
Yeah.
Love that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they they have those innate abilities that have been in their DNA and their karma and their past lives or in their things, and we've suppressed all that, whether that be society wise or religiously or whatever has held people back from being everything they can possibly be. And I think, it's wonderful to meet with other people who are becoming more aware of how all that feels and that it was probably always there in the first place. We just need to recognize it and then share it with other people because how do people learn? We share the stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about
Absolutely.
trusting your own intuition, which is kind of put on the side since very early in our life because we are taught that we have to trust what we are said, what we are told.
I think we've been programmed
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
in one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Every
and
from
that's why kids have all this, young kids have all this accessibility to stuff. But what happens, and you made a good point, Ken, is because, religious stuff or this, they express it and it's like, yeah, no, you can't say that, right?
Mm.
No, you can't do that. Well, when you're told that numerous times, then all of a sudden, like you said, you shut that down. So you push that, that beautiful gift that you had, you push back and you pushed it away because, mom, dad, the school, the priest, whoever went, no, no, you can't say that. That's not real, right? And that gets pushed down.
yes. So one by one we share, and that's part of our whole program here is to allow people to see that there's different things in the world and different people in the world that you don't have to be any of them,
Mm.
but you need to open up yourself to the possibilities. And without dreams and possibilities, everything stagnates.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Yes. I had another curious question,
Sure.
if I may. And it's about so after first shift and second shift, then you created your website and you went out. And is there any of the beginnings, any um, I don't know, anecdote that you want to share with us?
Uh, is there? I don't know. I found it very hard. Like say, Patrice pushed me from the website. It's so hard. Totally out of my comfort zone. Totally out of my comfort zone. Yeah,
He
but
has
I
a way of
enjoy
doing that.
it. Yeah, he does. But just like coming on any session, it's once I had my first session, you know, myself, just a one-on-one with some, it felt natural again. You know what I mean? It once again, it's that doubt and fear. But soon as a session would start, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this feels so natural and so normal. And that was it. After my first session, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is great. Where before it's like, people have expectations, right? Am I going to fulfill their expectations? And that was sort of the barrier. And then it was just like, whoever comes to me, they came for a reason. Like, there's a reason they came. So they're going to get what they need, not what they want. And I always tell people that. It's like, people come and it's like, I want to be healed for this. And I'm like,
Doesn't work like this.
it's not how I work, but it's exactly, you'll get what you need, not what you want. And the more you want something, you're probably not getting it. You know what I mean? It's sort of, it's funny that way. You get what you need.
Yeah. But at the same
Sometimes
time, go on.
sometimes you have to remove the blocks that are there if you're in any healing, sometimes you have to get rid of the causes of that before you can affect the healing. And sometimes the causes aren't what you expect.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say, sometimes you really want something very badly, and you say, if it's needed, it will happen, otherwise it will not. But also, if you really believe that that's going to happen, because you cannot delegate someone else. So
No.
what I've seen on me and what Ken demonstrates with his life every day and other people, it's that if you believe that you're meant to heal on that thing specifically, you're going to heal. And it doesn't depend on other people. It depends on you. If you are convinced.
And it all stems from you. I always say to people, I can help you heal you. I can't, right? I'm not here to heal you. I'm here to help you heal yourself.
Yeah.
And as Ken said, and for me, it's a lot of removing blocks, about beliefs and emotions and, perceptions. Hence source perception, because source is love, understanding, compassion, forgiveness. And when you start talking to people, that's where all the blocks are, right? Because, when you get into certain situations and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, can you see that from their, I'm mad at this person and blah, blah. And you go, well, you can see why you're mad, but can you see why they acted that way? And see, you don't know what's going on. And it's interesting because if you can shift that perspective, like you said, Ken, that's all the blocks. And lots of times once you recognize those, they're actually funny because it's a belief that you've built up in your head based on no foundation really at all.
Based on
Right?
programming. All
Absolutely.
the time. I was
Yeah.
the same. I was also getting mad at many other people. And now I can laugh about it. And if someone had told me you will be able to laugh about it, I would get mad and I would say, no way, I will never be laughing at that. Never. It doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
This was my sentence, that this doesn't make me laugh. Now I laugh.
And it's funny when you have the awareness that that situation would have triggered you to get mad, and now you laugh and you're like, that is so funny because one time, as you're saying, Sabrina, I would have been so mad at that, and now you just shake your head and be like, that's so foolish, right? Like,
Yeah.
but that's how I find disease in that, right? That's how health issues and mental issues, a lot of that happens because when you do that, I always say, right? You take energy and you do this, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep doing this with energy and putting it in a ball, then that's where we'll say disease comes from, right? But when you can work through that stuff and you start unraveling it, that's where your health comes from. That's how you can truly heal yourself.
Yeah.
And some things we're not meant to heal. That's part of our experience, why we're here, right? I'm here to have this, not heal from it, but I'm here to have it so I can learn lessons.
And I can teach lessons to those who are around me.
Yeah, right. So and that's the interesting thing. Everything is not meant to be healed, right? Right? It's meant to teach lessons for us to pass on to others or for us to learn ourselves.
Yeah.
You have to have a very open viewpoint on things, I believe. Like,
So you work one-to-one, or you also work with groups?
I only work with groups with Patrice. Yeah, yeah. And you know, I do
You
my
never
stuff,
know.
and then
Maybe it's
yeah,
the next shift.
absolutely. And I'm always open. If Patrice, if I'm available to do it, and Patrice like, hey, can you jump in? I'm like, yeah, sure. There could be me and Patrice. There could be me and 10 other people and Patrice. But it's always fun,
Mm.
right? Because once again, if it's not fun, then there's no healing happening. I mean, my motto at work always used to be, if I can't go to work and have fun, I don't want to be at work. And it's no different than any of this stuff, right? Like, you have to enjoy it and have fun doing it, right?
Yeah.
And that makes it even more powerful.
Have you ever run across people in your practice or what you're doing with people? Have you ever run across people that you don't want to work with or
Mm.
that you feel, do you have some boundaries basically set for like working with people?
Good question. I Every time someone sends a request, and I've changed my website again. One time you could just book, but I've changed it again now to almost the original. People would send a request, and I would ask in meditation, "Am I able to help this person?" And and if I got a no, I would write back and just say, you know, I've tuned in and asked my higher self, and I'm not the right person for you. And I would give like Patrice's name, you know what I mean? And I would say, but this person or this person or this person can help you. I'm
Right.
not the person, right? And that for
Because you are
me,
so connected to yourself, whatever higher, lower, it's like you are so connected to yourself that it is then balanced, and you can tell honestly to that person, I'm not the right person.
yeah, it for me, yeah, I listen to that and it feels right. It would be disingenuous, right? To be like, oh yeah, whoever wants to book. And I'm like, yeah, sure, get in the session and be like, this is not, this doesn't resonate, right? So that's why I ask in meditation. It's a yes or a no. And yeah, if it's a yes, it's like, sure, absolutely. And back to your question, Ken, yeah, I've had people that I've done sessions on that get triggered because me and Patrice always laugh. We're both good people to trigger people. I've triggered people and they don't like it, and I've had them just be like, "Yeah, I'm done now." Click and end the Zoom. But it's like, well, they got what they were supposed to get, right? Like,
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. But now, yeah, now I'm back to send me a message. I ask myself if I can help, and then I respond. So
Nice, nice.
So
Yeah.
it's a good solution, good filter.
yeah, because I don't want to waste, and waste is not a great word, but I don't want to take somebody's time knowing that, I ask myself and it's like, nah, you can't do anything.
Mm.
And then say, yeah, let's do a session. I can't do that.
I find
That's
it
not good.
ethical.
That's not good for me. That's not good for them, right? Like, that's draining to me, right? Nothing should be a drain. That's why I ask myself, is like, can I help? If I can, I'm after any session that I've asked and I have the session, I'm always wired and just like on fire for the rest of the day.
Mm.
Sessions that I've done that, at the beginning, when you're not sort of listening to yourself, I'd come away and go to bed, right? So it's interesting when you can start seeing the difference of, yes, I can help this person, or no, I can't. Because the no, I can'ts, I'd have to go to bed and I was exhausted. The yes, I can's, I would be charged full of energy for like hours after, because it was so exhilarating and just so amazing.
That brings up another question for me. A lot of people who work with energy and people Do you ever feel that, uh, do you protect yourself from other people's negative energy? Because you're working closely with somebody, so there's this energy exchange that happens. So do you ever feel like uh, you're in the middle of something that do you need to protect yourself in any way, or is what you're doing flowing from you to them, or does anything come back at you? Is my question, really.
Good question. Uh, I, ca- I always tell people that I do session, it's a belief. Like I've never had that thought of I'm going to take something on,
Mm,
right? So for me, it's all about giving, right? It's no matter what they're in energetically, that never enters my mind that I'm going to take something on. I'm going to give everything I can give,
Mm.
and that's it, right? I
perfect.
think for me, my belief, my knowing is that as soon as you put that thought in your head of I need to protect myself, then you've put a doubt in that you're not pure source. If you're pure source, you're pure source. Or working, you're working from pure source.
Right, right.
Right? As soon as you put, oh, should I protect myself? Then you're doubting that you are being that conduit, that true conduit. Because that true conduit,
Mm,
it's pure
Okay,
love.
I agree with
Nothing can affect that, right?
I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, because we say, energy is energy, it can go through a screen as well.
Yeah.
If you start working with a lot of people, not because you put the thought on, but because energy passes through everything.
But you allow it to pass. But that's the
Because you
thing. You
allow
allow
it
it to
to
pass.
pass.
You
Yeah.
you allow it to pass through. As soon as you put that thought that
Mm.
I can take it on, it doesn't pass through. It stops at you,
Ah,
right? And that's how I see it. It's
that's a good point.
yeah, of course the energy's flying around. I'm getting it. I'm feeling, but I don't. That thought in my head is that I'm taking it on. No, so it just goes through. It goes through. It goes through. If I brought that thought in, I don't want to take on Ken's energy. I can put money on it that it's going to stop in me, right?
right.
And then
Hmm.
I've taken on the energy. But I don't have that belief or thought. So, yeah, I'm just this, we'll say,
Mm.
imaginary thing, and it just passes through me. And that's how I see it. I don't see that I take anything on. I just let it go. This, wherever it needs to go, it goes.
Yeah, it's always a belief. Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Good. Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah.
No, no, thank you for the question. It's because that
So,
is a big one. That is a
Yeah.
big one. A lot of people talk about and ask, and
yeah. And now you're not retired anymore then. You're enjoying your retirement by
yeah,
helping people to heal themselves. This verb heal, it's so amazing because we have made it become a taboo. Yeah, because we
yeah,
cannot say that we heal other people, and because actually it's not true. Nobody heals nobody,
exactly.
not even the doctors, not even the medicines. They
Yeah.
don't. But yeah, it's you find yourself enjoying it, and
Oh, life is amazing. I'm I'm busier at the stuff I want to be busy at now
mm,
than I was when I was working. You know what I mean? It's like, how did I ever fit work in my life? So now I do this stuff and I do other interests that I have. I could do X number of sessions in a month, or I might do one in a month. I don't even think about it. It's amazing when I get to do it,
mm,
whether it's once or 10. You know what I mean? Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, my curiosity was very happy, satisfied. It was fascinating, actually. And I mean, of course, there is a lot of gratitude. It was fun. We had a lot of
Absolutely.
fun. It was like speaking with an old friend. this is what I like in these conversations. Yes, it's like meeting old friends that you haven't been seeing for a very long time, and
I totally agree.
hearing about what they're doing now, catching up.
And there's only a certain group that you can have these conversations with right now in society, right? Which that's what makes it, I think, even more special. You just can't have this conversation with anybody on the street. They would look at you like you're crazy, right? So I that's why I love this. It's like you can say whatever you feel, and people can receive it and be like, yeah,
The people who are
absolutely.
ready, they receive it. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, listen, it's such a pleasure. I mean, yeah,
And then
be
there
able
will
to sit and chat.
there will be another episode, I'm sure, because shifts are coming all the time. They happen.
And right now the shifts are happening so fast that I don't think people realize how fast it's happening. Like,
Yeah, it can be felt if you stop for a second. Yes, it's
yeah, absolutely.
mm-mm. Yeah,
So,
this is going to be another interesting conversation because I am all into this planet vibration that is changing the frequencies, the poles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a last finishing question for you. If you were to say to humanity or to the people that are watching this episode, what's one thing you would say that would be like a message to humanity?
Good one. I'll say, and it's cliche, but it is love. It's love for yourself and love for everything, you know, everything visible, everything of it, like everything in this realm. It's having love for it and compassion and understanding because everybody here is on their own journeys, right? We don't know what anybody else's journey is like, and they're doing the best they can. So have those qualities for them because despite what you might be feeling or thinking, most of the time it's not actually what's happening. So if we can have those qualities for each other, it'll shift everything, right? And that's what people just have to remember. We don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in Ken's head or Sabrina's head. They don't know what's happening in mine. I could be smiling, but you know, I could have a lot going on. We don't know. So if you can just see and have that perspective of it, then you can be like, hey, I don't know what's going on with Ken, but sending him lots of love, right? No matter how he's acting, what he's saying, what he's doing. But boy, good job on your journey, Ken, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's the same when we experience arrogance or someone else's
Yeah.
arrogance. It's
Yeah. But then you have to look at them and be like, boy, I have such compassion because look at that experience. That's what they're living, and right. So they're so far away from, we'll say, source of love and all that stuff. But boy, what an experience they're having, right? That's the only way to look at it. If not, we go into the madness and chaos of what society is today. And I think that's where when we can shift that, right? Peace, love, all that stuff. That's when things change. Simple but hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah. And if people understand the day they understand it, actually by just connecting to your heart, and then every heart connects to each other heart, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was the beautiful answer. And to finish this conversation, really.
Well, I want to thank both of you. It was an honor and a privilege to meet you both and be able to sit here and chat. It's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Anytime.
much. Yeah, soon.
Yeah, absolutely.